Hey everybody, this is DJ, and I am very pleased to have a special guest on the channel today. This is Mr. Ron Meischker. Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right on. Good to have you on, Ron. So yeah, we're going to talk about a few things today. You are the main organizer, and I was sort of a volunteer helping out as well with Paige last year, the Philadelphia Area Gaming Convention. We're going to talk a little bit about GAP, the Gamer Assistance Program, a 503c charity that helps veterans of the gaming industry that are in need. But before we begin and dig into all that stuff, let's talk about how we met. I think I first came to know of you on the RPG Auctions Facebook group, where I bought a ton of stuff from you. And then also the RPG collections and barter group, which you were the admin for.
Yeah, that's right. You did buy a lot of stuff at the beginning there, but I think we got to know each other better once the RPG collectors barter group started up, because that requires a lot more interaction. You're not just buying things, but you're discussing things you're looking for. You're helping. You're looking for a match to trade and barter gaming items with other people, and it gives you the opportunity to get to know them. And then eventually, from that group, we formed a little online AD&D Second Edition group, which you were part of.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun in that game. That was great. You were the DM. I played I think a halfling, a thief, I think, who was having a mental breakdown. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was killer. And then from there, we sort of just sort of talking online, and you began organizing Page One, the gaming convention in Philly that's now every January. So Page 2 is coming up this next year. Tell us about it. What are some of the highlights from last year? What are some things that are a draw people ought to look forward to this year?
Well, interestingly, the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo came out of an idea from the RPG Collectors Barter Group, and having run game conventions in the distant past, I kind of stepped up and said, "Yeah, I'll put something together." But for me, it was a little more of a response to some of the fissuring within the gaming community. The pandemic, while it was helpful to gaming, people were gaming online. People began to reach back to their original roots within the role-playing games, especially, and started to collect things because you had a lot of extra time on your hands during the pandemic. But it also created some of what some people would refer to as nesting, where you start attacking your own, right? And there was a lot of that in the gaming community. Newer individuals to the hobby, not agreeing with some of the long-standing, cornerstones of the hobby. There was a lot of, name calling and vitriol related to, gatekeeping and things like that. And, as you and I have discussed in the past, who cares about any of that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're worried about that kind of stuff, then you're involved in in gaming as a hobby for the wrong reasons. Focus on where we're all aligned as gamers, and that's sitting down at the table and having a good time, enjoying whatever role-playing game or tabletop board game that you happen to be playing at the time. Everybody's in alignment there. The rest of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that was particularly troubling to me, the way the industry and the hobbyists in it had kind of factioned up. And for me, I don't care who I'm playing with, as long as I'm having a good time with that person at the table. And we put Paige together with that idea. Let's bring everybody together. And in our first year, we were hoping to get 500 people, and we got over 1,100 people.
Yeah.
And many of them are what would be called grognards, and there were many people who were recent additions to the hobby who came, and everybody mixed and matched extremely well. Um, we didn't over focus on hot button issues. We focused on a simple code of conduct that we expected everybody to follow, and the idea that we do this to have fun. Let's have fun. Let's get back to the roots of the thing and have some fun.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It frankly it bums me out to see, in both directions too. Like there's a lot of sort of hate directed at WotC these days and everything, justified or not, and I'm not here. I'm here for enjoyment and fun and happy game time. And yeah, because I play all editions. I play 5th, I played 2nd, too. I ran an OD&D game for about 2 years. I'm running a 1st edition game now, and it kind of bums me out seeing people just shit on the flavor that's not the one they like. Telling stories, having laughs, eating pizza, and sometimes doing shots with my buddies. Like, they can be opposite end of the political spectrum. I really couldn't care less. It bums me out to see people, shitting on a flavor of it, and yeah,
they're focusing on the wrong things when it comes to the hobby, and that's what brings us all together, and that's what we did at Page last year, and we're continuing forward with that this year. I mean, we have close to 50 industry guests this year.
Awesome.
We have 6 months out, we have over 320 events on the schedule. We've got manufacturers coming out in year 2 to set up in the vendors area. We've got some of the great pioneers of the gaming industry will be there. I mean, we're going to have Frank Mentzer back this year, who happens to be from Delaware County, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. Ken St. Andre, the creator of Tunnels and Trolls, is going to be flying in from Arizona to be at the event.
Awesome.
And Harold Johnson, who was the longest tenured TSR employee in history. He's going to be there, and then we have plenty of the online creators that are out there. Professor Dungeon Master, Bob World Builder, Jay Scott. We've got Ben Riggs is going to be there. I'm very happy with our guest list this year.
And me.
and you, yeah.
I'll be running my Curse of Randy Macho Man Strahd game again this year, which is always a lot of fun and ridiculous. I've also got a Dragonlance one shot that I wrote that I'm going to be playing or DMing for people. I'll give a few anecdotes from last year, a few highlights for me. It was wonderful to play with Frank Metzer. I remember, my first Dungeons and Dragons thing that I owned was the Menser Red Box when I was probably 9 years old, I think. I remember getting it and driving home in my mom's van. The game store was maybe 40 minutes away, so she'd only take me once or twice a year, but just tearing that thing open, and the dice were in there, and just starting to read through the little example adventure with, you meet Alina and the ghouls come out and Bargle kills her. So to meet Mr. Menser and have him DM a game for us, that was like just, amazing. That was seriously a highlight. Meeting Ronan Wong and getting to play in his Rahasya game. He's got a very rare collectible Rahasya, the pre-published one, I believe. He's got a copy of the one that was, I think, the bootleg that Tracy Hickman and his wife were publishing before getting hired at TSR, or maybe it was the one that was in the RPGA published one. I'm not sure, one of those two, but that was pretty great. Also, what was a highlight for you? What was any super memorable moment?
There were a few. We have a Thursday night cheesesteak dinner for our guests and for our staff and volunteers, and it gives everybody a chance to bond before all the badge holders come in, and it gives our staff and volunteers the opportunity to mingle with the guests without the pressure of the guests being there to talk to those folks as well. And one of the unique parts about that dinner was we get a great amount of support from a local university gaming club, and there was a group of about 12 young people there. Only one of them even vaguely knew who Frank Menser was.
Wow.
The rest of them didn't. But, Frank made his way over to their table and was talking to them. And he had them entranced in what he was saying about the early days of D&D and just the theory of his, especially his theories about gaming. And they were immersed in every word he was saying. And that was one of the great things that popped out to me. Some of the volunteers, Ryan Morgan specifically, gave me a very nice gift of Dragon Magazine #1, which he knew I had been looking for.
Wow.
And he gave that to me on behalf of all of the staff, because I guess everybody knew, how hard it was to get the thing off the ground. And, that got me choked up a little bit. I think seeing some other folks who came to the convention who've been in the hobby for years and, took a chance flying into a first year convention from around the country was a big deal as well. Seeing somebody like Matt Ballant, who worked all those years designing those great books for Palladium Books, and Valley of the Pharaohs, and getting to hear that he was putting out a 40th anniversary version of Valley of the Pharaohs, and getting to interact with him, that was really great. Meeting Jeff D again, but being able to have the time to sit there with him. But more importantly, I actually filled in for a game master that became sick, and I ran a game, and Jeff came walking over and is like, "Can I sit in?" I'm like, oh, that's Jeff D. He's going to play in my game, which I've not prepped for, but it was it was really great. And just some of the camaraderie I was witnessing between the gamers there, I thought was really great. I mean, there were these two guys. One was an actor, and another person's the CEO of a computer company, computer software design company. Knowing that they went out and were involved in karaoke and a lot of drinking, and seeing the pictures of that made me happy.
Yeah, we're probably going to do that again. Yeah, Ronan's actually going to fly out to my house. It's awesome to make friends, at a convention like this. I'm prepping just in the interest of the 50th anniversary, and I've been playing through from my home game in Saturday mornings, sort of going in publishing order through all the TSR products, starting with the 74 red box rules. So we're going to go back in time even before that, to before chainmail. There was the siege at Bodenberg. So I am building a 6 foot by 6 foot terrain table in my parking area right now, and Ronan's going to fly down here from Vancouver to play that with me when it's done. So that's pretty cool.
That's the kind of magic, literal magic, that happens at game conventions if the intentions of the convention are good, meaning the idea is to put people together and make sure we're having fun, and you two were able to connect at that convention. Now, somebody's flying from across the country to play a game with you, and to be honest, I mean, that's like a once in a lifetime thing, right?
Yeah.
That you make that connection with somebody. Those sort of stories, make me, when I hear that makes me happy. That makes me say, okay, we're doing what we should be doing and what our goal was to accomplish. You don't run a game convention to make money, but you run a game convention because you love it and you want to enjoy the atmosphere of it. And a story like that just, warms my heart, to be honest with you. And I know that's hard to believe because I'm kind of a gruff guy, but it does make me very happy to hear that, because those kind of connections are priceless.
Totally. I'll give another anecdote from the convention too. I got to sit in on, and I love Pace Setter games and everything they make. So the official page 1 module, Pace Setter did Palace of the Vampire Queen, Wicked Whispers.
Yeah.
And that was extra special for me, just in that we had just finished playing through the whole adventure, the original Palace of the Vampire Queens that Pace Setter like kind of remastered for North Texas RPG Con like in 2012 or something.
Right.
So to like spend 9 months playing this adventure and then get to sit in on part of that adventure, or like a remixed version of one of the levels with the guy that wrote it, like that was great. And he had us play the character sheets. The pre-mades he had were from the cartoon, from the D&D cartoon. So I was Presto, and I could reach into the hat and roll on the entire spell list, levels 1 through 9 spells. Just a random spell occurs. I ended up killing 2 of the other players with that, which was just awesome, and I felt bad, but that was a highlight too. That was really cool.
Other things that were really great about Page. We're a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and we have something called the Gamer Assistance Program with the convention. And we took our auction, and we took sections of our auction, and some things were 100% donated to the convention's Gamer Assistance Program, and some things just had a 10% auctioneer fee or buyer's premium. But we were able to raise $9,000, and specifically earmark that money to go to gamers or people in the gaming industry in need. One of the things that you see on social media all the time is you see people from the industry, they can't afford basic things later in life. They have a leaky roof. They can't afford the new roof. They have a sudden medical emergency, and they can't cover whatever isn't covered by their insurance. And it's pretty heartbreaking. But, in the early days of the industry, a lot of people were in the industry simply for the love of being in the industry. There wasn't a lot of money in it. and clearly there weren't a lot of great benefits in it. And the side effect of it is it's coming out on the back end. You see like
Yeah.
artists like Darlene having such financial difficulty later in life. And you see gamers and longtime collectors who, selling off what they collected over the years because they can't afford, car repairs, things
Yeah.
like that. And it was kind of heartbreaking. So the idea behind the gamer assistance program is to be able to help those folks kind of bridge the gap, gamer assistance program gap, bridge the gap to help them get over some hard financial times. Um, it could be something as simple as a gamer who is for 30 years been going to conventions and they can't afford to go to conventions anymore because now they're on a fixed income. You know, buying somebody a badge for a convention or something like that, or it could be putting a roof on a house, or it could be covering medical bills. So I feel very proud that we were able to raise that kind of money. But additionally, the auction at the convention, besides the money raised, was outstanding. We had Dragon magazines 1 through 15 there. You had Dungeon magazines 1 through 12. You had a wood grain box set. You had, I think, 3 white box sets, 3 different versions of the white box set there. You had some pretty rare items that showed up in that auction. And it's some pretty rare items that were floating around the convention getting traded and sold as well.
Yeah.
And, at its core, a lot of the people flew in from around the country. We had people from 27 different states at the convention. They were game collectors, role-playing game collectors, and they turned out and they supported the convention. So that was a very satisfying part of the convention as well.
Yeah, awesome. And full disclosure, I'm on the board for GAP, for the Gamer Assistance Program too. And yeah, it feels good to be able to sort of give back to people in need. I mean, we collect these old books that we just love and adore. Sort of like, fiction for those in need that made them. It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And the auction was great. I picked up a few things from it as well. And I wanted to announce too, I think I've told you already, but I'm going to start RPG auctioning in the Facebook group. This one is up for auction right now. This is a first edition Dungeon Master's Guide with the original Dave Sutherland cover. And 100% of proceeds are going to be donated to GAP. And my channel is starting to line up affiliates and sponsorships right now. And for the immediate future, at a minimum the next year, every single dime made from that is going to be donated straight to GAP.
Oh, you know what? Thank you, David. I mean, we it's I feel blessed that we were able to get a fledgling convention off the ground and successfully. I mean, we're just now heading into our second convention, but the convention's got some national buzz already. Many people from in the industry and gamers know about Page now, and we're heading in the right direction. But to be able to not only get it off the ground and not be in the deep red after year one, and then having a fund for GAP there ready to go, that was satisfying as well. And we're going to be taking another big step in 2026 where we expand the footprint that we have. I mean, right now we've got about 40,000 square feet of space. We're going to be expanding into the rest of the convention center. So the
Awesome.
convention's really going to jump in size, or at least in footage, um, in 2026, and moving forward every year, 2025 and forward, we're going to be on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, which should clear people up to not have to worry about how they're getting back to where they came from by
Awesome.
Monday morning. So we're pretty happy to be perched on that weekend as well.
Awesome. And talk a little bit about if people want more information about Page, about Gap, where do you go to sign up to get your badge, to get registered for Page? And then for the Gamer Assistance Program, if you want to either donate or apply to become a recipient of it, what do people do?
Yeah, the best place to learn about the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo, or Page for short, is on our website, which is phillygamingexpo.com, which I believe is up on the screen there. But is also to join our Facebook group, the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo Facebook group, where you get daily updates about the convention, and people can share things that are related to the convention there. That's another great place. And in terms of Page, uh, you know, basically at any point, a gamer or a friend of a gamer, you don't have to be the person in need to make the application on behalf of somebody else, can come to any of any GAP committee member, or come to the convention website and send in an inquiry about uh, funding, if they're having difficulties. One of the keys is that any applicant or any application on behalf of somebody, we vet these expenditures out pretty fully. Like if you're saying, hey, listen, I'm going to get evicted from my house, we're going to ask for information,
Yeah.
and you're going to need to provide it. It's not, we're not doing, it's, unfortunately, we can't do it on the trust system. We actually have to see the hardship. And, but assuming that is, those things are in order, we'll write checks. I mean, that's
Yeah.
as simple as that.
Yeah, that's great. And who's eligible for GAP to become a recipient?
It has to be somebody who's involved in the gaming community in one way or another, either as a long time established and well known hobbyist, somebody who is working in worked for a retail store or owned a retail store, somebody who worked in the industry as a designer or an artist, or a creator. Um, but the key is you have to have an established tie to the industry, either as just a plain old hobbyist or as a former employee who worked in the industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk about your origin story for a bit. How did you get kicked off into Dungeons and Dragons and other games? Do you remember what your first character was?
Yeah, my first character was a chaotic neutral human fighter named Electi Vance, and he adventured with a monk named Bior Mature, and a two brother priests named Dalinor and Balinor, and they stumbled upon a little village called Hamlet, and they made their way to the moat house and the dungeons below it, and I was hooked right away. I think I was 10 years old. I was hooked right away, and playing with some neighborhood kids, and next thing you know, I took some Christmas money and I bought a basic set at the time, a Moldvay basic set, and I also bought the Cook Moldvay expert set, and away we went. I played in that little game group for a little while, and then some other friends that I went to school with, they found out like they wanted to play, but they didn't know anybody who could DM, and they came to me, and I tried my hand at DMing at like 11 or 12, and it just kind of became a lifelong passion. I enjoy it. It's my relaxation time. I enjoy the camaraderie of it. I enjoy the social interaction of it. I enjoy the creative aspects of it. And, D&D is still a great time for me today, just like it was in 1980. So many gamers, they kind of graduate to other systems, and and for me, I'll play any role-playing game, but if we opened up my heart, it's D&D that would fall out.
Yeah. Me too.
Love everything about it. And, I'm an avid, very avid collector. I'm probably one of the largest, I probably have the largest collection of painted fantasy miniatures maybe in the world. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot. I have a lot, and I have a lot of unpainted, sitting there waiting to get painted. And every once in a while, I'll take a day and I'll just get up early in the morning on the weekend, and I'll go out to the paint room and not come back out until 11 o'clock at night, and blow a lot of stuff out. But I enjoy that part of it. I still enjoy my regular gaming group, and watching the looks on their faces as things happen in the game, and seeing that excitement in them and seeing that enthusiasm in them, and it's just great. It makes it fun for me, it's fun for them, and I like hearing the stories and reading the stories of other people who play, and what's brought them joy as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what are your games now? I know you've got a Wednesday night group. Tell us what edition, what level are they? Is it a published adventure, homebrew?
Yeah, I'm actually a player in that game.
Oh wow.
It's second edition AD&D. We're adventuring in some dwarven ruins, and it's a Forgotten Realms game.
Okay.
And I play a dwarven priest of a human god, which is interesting.
Oh yeah.
And I think I'm having a good time with that. On Sunday nights or Sunday afternoons, I've got a campaign that's going to be going the last 6.5 years. That is also second edition Forgotten Realms. I run that game, and our party is that party's anywhere between 8th and 12th level, and they have no idea what's on the horizon in front of them. They're not in Kansas anymore. I'll just leave it at that. And then once or twice a month on Saturdays, we've been playing Shadow Dark, which is a nice little system, and I enjoy that as well. And each of those groups, they're different. There's a couple of crossover players between some of them. For the most part, it's 3 different groups, which is great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've got 4 games going right now, and I'm considering adding a 5th, but that's a lot. Mr. Ron, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I look forward to seeing you next January at Page. I'll probably see you before that in one of the GAP administrative meetings.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right. Take care, Ron. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.